Hello everyone, this is your English teacher Rabia Atif. Today we are going to read a new chapter from your Oxford Reading Circle book 6, The Golden Crab. You will find this lesson on page number 33. Let's start from the first para. The Golden Crab. Once upon a time, there was a fisherman who had a wife and 3 children. Every morning he went out fishing, and whatever fish he caught, he sold it to the king. One day, among the other fishes, he caught a golden crab. When he came home, he put all the fishes together into a great dish. But he kept the crab separate because it shone so beautifully and placed it upon a high shelf in the cupboard. Now, while the old woman, his wife, was cleaning the fish, she suddenly heard a voice which said, "Hello, please get me out." So students, this paragraph is about a fisherman who had a wife and 3 children, and this fisherman was basically old. His wife was also old and they had 3 children. Every morning when he went for fishing, he was so busy, he catches the fishes, and daily he used to sell it to the king. One day among the fishes, he caught one crab, and that crab was very different from the others. That crab shone very beautifully and brightly. So he placed it separately from the fishes. When his wife started cleaning the fish, she saw that crab. She heard the voice of the crab, and the crab was saying, "Hello, please get me out." This means the crab was trying to get out of the cupboard, and that old lady didn't know who that was, but actually the crab was talking out from the cupboard. Next para. She turned round in surprise, and then she saw the little golden crab. "What? You can speak? Can you?" she said. Then she took him up and placed him on the table. When her husband came home, they sat down to dinner. Presently, they heard the crab's little voice saying, "Give me some too." They were all very much surprised, but they gave him some food. When the old man came to take away the crab's dinner plate, he found it full of gold. We'll keep up till here. These paragraphs tell about the surprise of the old woman. When she heard that the crab was talking, she became very much surprised, but she took him out of the cupboard and placed it on the table. When her husband came home, they were having their dinner, and when the crab saw them eating their dinner, he asked them to give him some too. Again, they got very much surprised, but even then they gave the food to the crab. When the old man went to the crab to get the plate back, he found it full of gold. This means there was something happening. The fisherman didn't know about it, and that crab filled it with gold. Let's go to the next paragraph, but before going to the next paragraph and next page, I would like to share the new vocabulary words with you. Number 1, fond of, which means having liking for something. Number 2, decline, which means decrease. Number 3, proposal, which means plan. Number 4, prudent, which means wise. Number 5, monarch, which means ruler. Number 6, disguise, which means dress. Now again we will go to the previous page and we will start reading the last para again. They were all very much surprised, but they gave him some food. When the old man came to take away the crab's dinner plate, he found it full of gold. And as the same thing happened every day, he soon became very fond of the crab. One day the crab said to the fisherman's wife, "Go to the king and tell him I wish to marry his younger daughter." The old woman went to the king and told him what the crab wanted. The king laughed a little at the notion of his daughter marrying a crab, but he did not decline the proposal altogether. He was a prudent monarch and knew that the crab was likely to be a prince in disguise. Now the fisherman became very fond of. This means he started liking the crab, and one day when the crab was just there at their home, he started talking to the fisherman's wife, and he said to her to go to the king of that place where the fisherman was selling the fishes, The crab asked the old woman to go to the king and ask him that the crab is wishing to marry his younger daughter. The old woman went to the king and told what the crab wanted. The king laughed, but still the king knew that the crab was actually, it was talking. Obviously, if an animal is talking, it's a strange thing. So the king knew that he might be a prince in disguise. So he did not reject the proposal because it was a very strange thing that a crab was asking to marry a girl. So he did not reject or decline the proposal, but because he knew that it might be a prince in disguise of a crab, so he did not reject the proposal. Let's go to the next para. He said to the fisherman's wife, "Tell the crab I will give him my daughter if by tomorrow morning he can build a wall in front of my castle much higher than my tower, with blooming flowers from around the world growing on top." The fisherman's wife went home and gave this message to the crab. Then the crab gave her a golden rod and said, "Go and strike with this rod 3 times upon the ground on the place which the king showed you, and tomorrow morning the wall will be there." So the prince did not reject the proposal. Instead, he asked the woman, the old woman, the fisherman's wife, to go back and tell the crab that I will give you my daughter's hand in marriage if by tomorrow morning the crab could build a big wall, a huge wall in front of the castle, and that wall should having blooming flowers which are from around the world. They should be growing on the top of that wall. So the fisherman's wife went home and told all this to the crab. The crab gave her a golden rod, a golden stick, and said that go and strike this rod 3 times where the king asked you to, where he wanted the wall. So he asked the woman to take this golden rod and strike the place which the king showed you, and you will strike the place with this golden rod 3 times, and you will find a great huge wall with the blooming flowers from all around the world the very next morning. In the next pages, next paragraph, you will find some more new vocabulary words which I would like to share with you. Number 1 is majesty, which means authority. Number 2, fountain, which means spout or spray. Number 3, brilliance, which means diamonds of brilliant cut. The old woman did so. This is page number 35. The old woman did so. The next morning when the king awoke, what do you think he saw? The wall stood there before his eyes, exactly as he had described it. Then the old woman went back to the king and said to him, "Your Majesty's orders have been fulfilled." "That is all very well," said the king, "but I cannot give away my daughter until there stands in front of my palace a garden in which there are 3 fountains, of which the first must spray gold, the second diamonds, and the third brilliance." In these paragraphs, we see that when the old woman did the job, she took the golden rod and she struck the place which the king showed with the golden rod 3 times. The next morning when the king awoke, the wall was there, and that wall was filled with the blooming flowers from all around the world. Then the old woman went back to the king and said that we have fulfilled your orders. This means you asked the crab to build a great wall in front of my castle, so we did it. The king replied, "That's fine." That was good for the king that the wall was there, but he said, "I cannot give my daughter until there stands." The second challenge the king gave. The first challenge was that to build a huge wall in front of the castle, which will be filled with the blooming flowers. The second challenge now the king decided to give to the crab was that there should be a beautiful garden in front of his palace, and in the garden there would be 3 fountains, and the fountains should be, one must spray gold. This means one fountain should be giving out gold instead of water. The second fountain must be giving out diamonds in front of water, and the third must be giving out the brilliants. Brilliants are the diamonds with great cuts. Now the second challenge was given to the crab by the king. These are some new vocabulary words before we read the next paragraphs. Consent means agreement. Garment means clothes. Queenly robes means royal dresses. Meadows means pasture. Cushions means pillow. So the old woman had to strike again 3 times upon the ground with the rod. And the next morning the garden was there. The king now gave his consent, and the wedding was fixed for the very next day. Then the crab said to the old fisherman, "Now take this rod, go and knock with it on a certain mountain. Then a servant will come out and ask you what you wish for. Answer him thus, 'Your master, the king, has sent me to tell you that you must send him his golden garment that is like the sun. Make him give you besides the queenly robes of gold and precious stones, which are like the flowery meadows, and bring them both to me, and bring me also the golden cushion.'" Now in these paragraphs we find out that after getting the second challenge from the king for the crab, the old woman again went to the place which was showed by the king to her. She took that golden rod again there, and she struck the place 3 times with that golden rod, and the very next day there was a beautiful garden with 3 fountains. Then the king became a little happy, and he was surprised, and he came to know that the crab was not an ordinary one. So he gave his consent, means he agreed for the wedding of the crab with his younger daughter, and fixed their wedding for the very next day. After getting the news of their wedding getting fixed, the crab asked the old fisherman to take the rod, and he asked him to go on a certain mountain, and when you will strike that mountain, a servant will come out and he will ask you that what you wish for. The crab said the old fisherman to ask that a man who will come out of the mountain that your king has sent me, and he wanted his golden garment. Garment means the clothes. So the crab asked the old fisherman to ask him for the queenly robes also. This means royal clothes, which are having precious stones in it. And he asked him for the cushion also, the golden cushion. So the old fisherman will be going to the mountain that was told by the crab, and a man will come out from there after striking with the rod, and the fisherman has to bring the queenly robes, this means the royal clothes for the crab, as well as the golden cushion. Golden cushion means the pillow. Let's see some more vocabulary words before reading further. Number 1 is errand, which means task or job. Number 2, enchanted, which means placed under a spell, magic, right? Number 3, immediately, which means at once. Number 4, handsome, which means good looking. Let's read. The old man went and did his errand. When he had brought the precious robes, the crab put on the golden garment and then crept upon the golden cushion. The fisherman carried him to the castle, where the crab presented the other garment to his bride. Then the wedding ceremony took place. Later, when the married pair were alone together, the crab made himself known to his young wife. He told her that he was the son of the greatest king in the world, but he was enchanted, so that he became a crab by day and was a man only at night. He also explained that he could change himself into an eagle as often as he wished. Then he shook himself and immediately became a handsome youth. But the next morning he was forced to creep back again into his crab shell, and the same thing happened every day. In these paragraphs we see the old man went to the mountain, and he found the man over there, and from that man he brought the royal clothes and gave it to the crab, and the marriage ceremony held. He put on his new garments, the royal garments, and the rest of the garments he gave to his bride, and the wedding ceremony took. place. After that, when they both were alone together in a room, the crab revealed himself to his wife, and he told her that he was the son of the greatest king in the world. This means that there was no other king like that. But he was enchanted, means he was under spell. Somebody has made a spell on him, and at night he becomes a handsome youth, and in the morning he becomes a crab again. So while he was telling this all to his bride, he turned into a handsome youth. But in the morning, he again became a crab, and he was forced to creep back into his shell. And every day it happened. At night time, the crab got changed into a handsome youth, or a handsome guy, or a handsome prince, you can say. And in the morning, again, he had to become a crab. Before reading next, some more new vocabulary words we are having. Number 1, affection, which means love and liking. Number 2, suspected, which means have an idea of presence of something. Number 3, spied, which means catch sight of. The prince's affection for the crab and the polite attention with which she behaved to him surprised the royal family. They suspected some secret, but though they spied and spied, they could not discover it. Thus a year passed away. The princess seemed happy, but her mother still thought the whole matter very strange. At last she said to the king that he ought to ask his daughter whether she would not like to have another husband instead of the crab. But when the daughter was questioned, she only answered, "I am happily married to the crab." In this paragraph we find out that it was really strange for normal people that the younger princess was married to a crab. So the whole family was very much worried about their relation, and they thought that we should spy. Spy means find out that was actually the princess happy with the crab or not. They several times asked the princess either she was happy or not, and the princess clearly told them that she was really happy with the crab. They also put an offer in front of her that instead of crab, we could introduce some new princes to you, and you can choose any of them for marriage. But their daughter said that she was happy with the crab. Next page, next para. Then the king said to her, "I will hold a tournament in your honor, and I will invite all the princes in the world to it. And if any one of them pleases you, you shall marry him." In the evening, the princess told this to the crab, who said to her, "Take this rod, go to the garden gate, and knock with it. Then a servant will come out and say to you, 'Why have you called me, and what do you require of me?' Answer him thus, 'Your master the king has sent me here to tell you to send him his golden armor and his steed and the silver apple, and bring them to me.'" In these paragraphs we find when the king and the queen found their daughter satisfied with the crab, they took another attempt. What they did, the king said that, "I would like to hold a tournament." A tournament is a sport. He said, "In your honor, I would like to hold a sport in which I will invite all the princes of the world, and if any one of them pleases you, you can marry him." In the evening, the princess told all this to the crab. So what the crab did, he gave the same golden rod to the princess and asked her to go to the garden gate and knock with it, with the rod, and then a servant will come out and will ask you what you want. Then you need to tell the servant that your master the king, means the crab, has sent me. Please bring the golden armor. Armor means the things which are worn by the princess, or you can say the dress that was worn by the princess when they fight or when they go for some special work. Steed means the riding horse, and the silver apple. So he asked the princess to go and do this. So the princess went to the garden gate, and she struck to the garden gate with a golden rod, and a man came out and he asked her what she wanted, and she told that your master the king, the crab, asked for the golden armor, the steed, that is the riding horse, and the silver apple. The princess did so and brought him what he desired. This means that man who came out at the golden gate of the garden, he brought the armor and the horse and the silver apple to them. The following evening, the princess dressed himself for the tournament. Before he went, he said to his wife, "Now mind you do not say when you see me that I am the crab, for if you do, evil will come of it. Place yourself at the window with your sisters. I will ride by and throw you the silver apple. Take it in your hand, but if they ask you who I am, say that you do not know." So saying, he kissed her, repeated his warning once more, and went away. So the princess brought the things to the crab, what he asked for, and then he said to his wife that you should not tell anyone that I am the crab, and if you will do, or if you will tell that the person who will be in the tournament is your husband, the evil will come of it. This means it will be bad for us. So he said to place herself with her sisters in the window, and while I will be riding the horse, I will throw you the silver apple that was brought by that man to the princess. He asked the princess to take it in your hand, but if they ask you that who he is who has thrown that silver apple, so you will have to say that you don't know who he was. So he kissed her wife and repeated his warning once more, and then he went away. So today we will keep up till here. Let's have a look at the home task. Number 1, questions. You have to do them in your copy. Question number 1 is, do all the vocabulary words with their meanings in your literature copy. Whatever the vocabulary words you have seen in this lesson, you have to do them in your literature copy. Question number 2, what did the fisherman find among the fishes one day? What did he do with it? Question number 2, what did the fisherman find among the fishes one day? What did he do with it? Question number 3, what surprised the old woman? Question number 3, what surprised the old woman? Question number 4, what was the first challenge given by the king to the crab? Question number 4, what was the first challenge given by the king to the crab? There is a note for you. Do all the work in literature copy, because marks will be given for all that work to you. Thank you. God bless you.